erectile dysfunction, especially among the youth, because I was shocked. Like the school I'm at now, I see kids with like diabetes and hypertension, teenagers.
There are famous men admired by millions of women for their strength, masculinity, and outstanding talent. They are legends, icons of power and charm. But few people know that behind that attractive exterior, their sex lives are actually not at all strong like you'd imagine. And the stories I'm about to tell will expose the bedroom weaknesses of 11 male stars who have struggled with bedroom matters despite being famously playboy-ish and having looks that drive countless women wild. 11. B.B. King, the blues legend whose guitar Lucille became the only one that could get him to the peak. B.B. King, a name that echoes around the world, is one of the greatest legends in music history. With his guitar Lucille in hand, he breathed soul into those deep blues melodies, making hearts everywhere flutter. Over decades of a brilliant career, King is an undeniable symbol of success and talent. However, that abundant energy on stage couldn't save his bedroom life. Starting in the late 90s, when B.B. King was in his 70s, his health began to decline. Diabetes, which had plagued him since 1985, kept attacking, seriously damaging the peripheral nerves and small blood vessels in his little guy. At first, Viagra could still help him maintain sexual function, but by 1999, it stopped working. That's when he switched to using a penile vacuum erection device and injecting alprostadil directly into the corpus cavernosum. But those methods only got him hard for 4 to 6 minutes without any pleasure or reaching climax. From 2008, when the injections stopped working too, B.B. King pretty much gave up. His last girlfriend, Sue Carol Hall, once shared that in 2014, B.B. King still kept alprostadil syringes in his touring suitcase, but they weren't worth much anymore. He could still give his lover warm hugs and passionate kisses, but that's all he could do. He once said, "Only Lucille can get me up anymore," a joke that hit a harsh truth inside. His guitar, Lucille, his faithful companion in music, was the only thing that could make him feel alive again. In his eyes, music never betrayed him, never let him down. Throughout those years, B.B. King didn't just battle illness, but also faced the gradual erosion of his faith in his own masculinity. Only the light of music was the one thing that couldn't be extinguished in him. 10. Chuck Berry, the father of rock and roll, who turned the bedroom into a painful battle with syringes and shattered hopes. Chuck Berry, the man who redefined rock and roll music, is a living legend. With his explosive melodies, he breathed new life into the world of music, creating hits that every generation tips their hat to. No one can deny his influence with songs like Johnny B. Good or Roll Over Beethoven. But in 1962-1963, Chuck Berry stumbled. He endured tough times in prison for taking an underage girl across state lines. The heavy labor, breaking rocks and shoveling dirt for 8 hours a day, permanently damaged his spinal nerves in the L4-L5 lumbar region. The price he paid for those years of hard labor was a decline in sexual function, a problem he couldn't fully resolve until the end of his life. After getting out for 25 years, he could still have normal sex, but the non-stop back pain made him rely on high doses of aspirin often. By 1988, Chuck started feeling a major change in his body. Sex wasn't the same anymore because the back pain kept getting worse. From 1995, he even had to rely on 100 milligrams of Viagra plus an aspirin every time he wanted to do it. But those drug-assisted sessions weren't fulfilling. He lost the ability to ejaculate, a condition doctors call retrograde ejaculation. Those nights of intimacy weren't satisfying anymore, replaced instead by emptiness and pain. And so, Chuck kept going through those discouraging months with slim hopes that things would get better, but reality just got worse. By 2005, he had to switch to injecting Trimix, a mix of papaverine, phentolamine, and prostaglandin E1. It was a temporary lifeline, helping him maintain a weak erection. Those intimate times felt like grueling battles, where each time he had to inject into the corpus to save face like a general. And so the injection doses gradually increased, but the results weren't what he wanted, with satisfaction and pleasure still out of reach. By 2013, the dose had to double just to get 30–40% hardness. Every time with his wife, he faced disappointment with that empty feeling. By 2016–2017, his little one stopped responding completely. The remaining years of his life became a string of pointless efforts in bed, and every time he looked at the mini fridge full of hundreds of Trimix vials, Chuck knew he had nothing left to hope for. His wife, Francine, and his personal lawyer witnessed the whole downward spiral. They said Chuck never gave up, always keeping those vials ready in the bedroom, but they only highlighted the sense of failure. His tragedy wasn't just the decline in sexual function, but an endless battle between the pride of a legend and the silent destruction of time and illness. He fought until the very last moment, but still couldn't win. 9. Richard Roundtree. The Shaft icon who gradually lost his masculine strength, left with only desperate efforts in front of the mirror. Richard Roundtree, the man who made history with his role as Shaft, one of the most famous characters in 70s action films, is a symbol of power, style, and masculinity. With his handsome features and charm, he not only made millions of female fans swoon, but is also remembered as a silver screen legend. No one expected that in 1993, Roundtree discovered he had male breast cancer, a disease usually only seen in women. And it was the cause of a chain of horrific changes in his sex life. After undergoing a mastectomy, chemotherapy, and 5 years of tamoxifen, Roundtree's body changed completely. His endogenous testosterone dropped sharply from 650 parabetnong-DL to just 120, 180-DL. These changes didn't just affect his overall health, but also weakened his sexual ability, turning what was once a source of pride into an obsession. Before 1993, Roundtree was a man full of vitality, with 5 kids from 3 different women. His testosterone was high, helping him maintain a rich and healthy sex life. But after battling cancer, everything started to change. From 1994 to 2000, the hormone decline left him with only about 10–15% natural erection. Sex became difficult, requiring $100 million Viagra combined with daily androgel testosterone gel just to maintain 50–60% hardness. And each battle wasn't a moment of ecstasy anymore, but reluctance and strained effort. As the 2000s rolled in, Roundtree continued treatment with 200 mg testosterone sapionate injections every 2 weeks and B-mix injections. But even with these methods, he could only have sex 1–2 times a month, a number much lower than his vibrant sex life before. Pleasure seemed like a luxury, and this obviously affected his relationships too. By 2010, things got even worse. Roundtree had to schedule each intimate session, preparing 90 minutes ahead with gel, Viagra, and B-mix injections to maintain an erection. But even then, pleasure dropped below 30%. Leaving only emptiness. And then, from 2018, he pretty much gave up on normal sex life, switching to other ways to satisfy his partner. His bedroom life became one-way sex, where Roundtree gave pleasure to his partner, but he couldn't enjoy it himself anymore. 8. Nat King Cole, the golden voice who let cigarettes steal his breath and desire in long nights of impotence. Nat King Cole, one of the legendary voices of the 20th century, is an immortal music icon with songs that captivated millions. From sweet ballads to light jazz tunes, he conquered the world's hearts with his warm, emotion-filled voice. The name Nat King Cole is tied to the peak of romantic music, but behind that glamour is a legend who struggled with poor bedroom health for decades. Nat King Cole's pain stemmed from a smoking habit he kept up for over a decade. Smoking 60–80 cigarettes a day, starting in 1947, he didn't know that those unfiltered cool cigarettes would turn his brilliant life into a chain of long, impotent nights. From 1958, Nat started feeling the clear changes in his body. Shortness of breath after 5 to 10 minutes of sex was the first sign his health was declining. Those breathing difficulties got more serious and longer as his body weakened from chronic oxygen shortage and widespread atherosclerosis. By 1961, Nat King Cole's condition was beyond saving. He couldn't have normal sex anymore, having to find sideline positions to continue. Those fun moments were often interrupted multiple times because he had to stop to catch his breath. In 1964, things got even worse. Nat didn't have the strength to maintain an erection anymore. He and his wife Maria faced that harsh reality for the first time at the Sands Hotel in Las Vegas. When trying to do it, he got so exhausted he had to call his personal doctor into the room because he couldn't breathe. The severe shortness of breath made it impossible to focus. And from September that year, Maria Cole noted in her personal diary that Nat doesn't try anymore. He just lay there hugging her to sleep without the motivation or strength to keep up the passionate sex life like before. Nat King Cole's tragedy is a bitter reminder of the price paid for bad habits in life. Even though he was a music legend who controlled the stage completely and enchanted millions of hearts, in his final months, he had to wrestle with his own body and couldn't win that fight. 7. Sammy Davis Jr., the Rat Pack star who turned sex into a race with drugs. Sammy Davis Jr. is one of the brightest names in the entertainment world, with superior talent and versatility from singing, dancing to acting. He was an icon of a golden era in American culture, a member of the famous Rat Pack group alongside legends like Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin. Sammy's career was packed with achievements in music, film, and TV. No one expected the day he'd suffer the brutal consequences of a wrong lifestyle. The price Sammy Davis Jr. paid for a youth drowned in pleasures and recklessness during his glory years was physical pain that few knew about. After a serious car accident from drunk driving in 1954, he lost an eye, cracked his skull, and damaged nerves. From then on, Sammy spiraled deeper into stimulants. By the 1970s, his daily cocaine and alcohol habit seriously wrecked his health. Though he still had the strength to dedicate to art, in private moments, he faced shocks about his sexual performance. In the mid-80s, Sammy could still maintain a sex life, but to have sex, he had to inject papaverine 15 minutes beforehand. By 1985, results from a checkup at Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles forced him to face a brutal truth. His little guy's blood flow was down to 8 mol/s, while normal is over 25 mol/s. That meant he'd completely lost the ability to get an erection. A shock, not just for Sammy, but also his wife, Altavisi. From there, his nightlife became a chain of disappointments. In the years after, Sammy tried everything to salvage the situation. He started using vacuum pumps and injecting high-dose Trimix mixtures. But even doing all that, he could only maintain an erection for 2 to 3 minutes, with the cost being unbearable stinging pain. In the end, he had to ditch those methods because they didn't work and just dug deeper into his pain. His wife, Altavisi, and manager Shirley Rhodes both shared that Sammy stopped trying to do it anymore. Instead, he only kept up one-way intimacy. From a strong, charming man, now Sammy Davis Jr. was left with only memories of a glorious past. The price of self-destructive habits, combined with irreversible injuries, left him without the confidence to shine in bed anymore. 6. Ray Charles, the great blind genius who let heroin and wine turn moments of ecstasy into distant memories. Ray Charles, the music legend nicknamed the Great Blind Composer, changed the face of world music. With superior talent across genres from jazz, blues to gospel and pop, he created timeless hits like Georgia on My Mind and Hit the Road Jack. No one can deny his deep influence on music, making Ray Charles an eternal icon. However, injecting heroin from 1948 to 1965 left unhealable wounds in his body. Peripheral nerve damage and blood vessel inflammation were the consequences he bore for life. After quitting, he switched to drinking 2 to 3 bottles of red wine a day until he died, causing fatty liver and testosterone levels dropping below normal, under 200 ng/dL. These body-destroying habits seriously affected Ray Charles's sexual health. From 1966, Ray Charles's erection ability plummeted. At first, he still had natural erections, but only about 40–50%. To maintain some feeling, he had to drink more wine, and so his sex life became a struggle between a tired body and persistent addictions. But that was just the start. By 1976, he had to use Caverject alprostadil to inject into his little guy every time he wanted sex, with doses from 20–40 mcg. But even with the drug, he could only maintain an erection for 5 to 8 minutes, and that came with unbearable pain. Those times didn't bring satisfaction, but desperate efforts, an attempt to avoid facing the harsh reality. Ray Charles's condition kept getting worse. From 1996, the injection dose increased to 60 mcg, but effectiveness dropped more, to just 3 to 4 minutes. Unable to recover, Ray switched to vacuum pumps combined with constriction rings, but no matter the effort, he still couldn't finish, a condition doctors call an ejaculation. According to his long-term girlfriend Chantel Bertrand, from 1998, he could only do intimate touching. Memories of a glorious era when he was an icon of power and charm now were just numbing efforts, a sex life with no room for ecstasy anymore. 5. Little Richard, the rock and roll king who declared giving up sex for God to hide the tragedy of permanent impotence from drugs. Little Richard, one of the rock and roll music legends, ignited the fire of this genre with eternal hits like Tutti Frutti and Long Tall Sally. His career spanned with undeniable peaks. The name Little Richard is tied to legendary leaps and an explosive voice full of energy, the one who paved the way for so many artists after. But behind all that glamour is a tragedy few know about, when his sexual ability was destroyed by his own bad habits. Little Richard, like many other artists, drowned in addictions for years. From 1972 to 1984, he sank into freebase cocaine and injected heroin. These drugs not only eroded his stamina, but led to multiple cardiac arrests, with serious overdoses in 1976, 1980, and 1984. The drugs wrecked his body from the inside, especially damaging small blood vessels and necrotizing part of the corpus cavernosum, leading to unavoidable consequences for Little Richard's intimate ability. From 1975, his bedroom problems started showing. Cocaine-induced priapism in reverse, sudden erections but unable to maintain, often leaving him deflated midway. From then on, failure in bedroom life became an obsession. By 1977, after a checkup at Atlanta Hospital, the doctor's results left him stunned. No arterial blood flow to his little guy, meaning permanent impotence. A fatal blow not just to his health, but to the ego of a legend. Little Richard hid this truth from the public. He declared giving up sex for God, but really it was just a way to deny the painful fact that he'd completely lost sexual ability. His ex-lover, Lee Angel, recounted that in the years after, Little Richard still kept small doses of cocaine at home, hoping for one last try. But it was all useless. Even though he tried, he could never get his mojo back. In tired moments, long, lonely nights, he couldn't find ecstasy through fun times anymore. They were just hopeless attempts to fill the void in his heart, an effort to relive memories of the glorious time when he was a sex and music icon. 4. James Brown. Illness turned the sex machine into a symbol of impotence. James Brown, the king of soul music, is an irreplaceable legend in music history. Once a symbol of energy and power, James Brown completely changed the face of funk music, creating famous hits like I Got You, I Feel Good, and Sex Machine. His talent, persistence, and unique performance style gave him an unbeatable position in the music industry for decades. However, offstage and in bed, he wasn't unbeatable anymore. From 1985 to 1998, James Brown sank deep into PCP, angel dust, and cocaine addiction, which spiked his blood pressure to dangerous levels of 200 hours 120 mmHg and led to a heart attack in 1991. On top of that, uncontrolled type 2 diabetes kept his blood sugar over safe levels with HbA1c always above 12%. These toxins tormented his body inside and out, and it didn't just affect his cardiovascular health, but destroyed the sexual ability of one of the greatest artists of all time. As the late 1990s hit, James Brown's condition started getting bad. In 1996, 1998, even when he was high on drugs, his sexual ability was just makeshift moments. Feeling ashamed and frustrated, every time he wasn't satisfied with bedroom stuff, he'd take it out on his lover with merciless punches and kicks. But those actions didn't change the harsh reality. By 1999, James Brown had to amputate part of a toe due to severe infection. But soon after, the infection still spread to the pelvic area, dropping his little guy's blood flow to just 5 milliliters, unable to maintain an erection, let alone have normal sex. In the early 2000s, James Brown tried every method to salvage his pitiful state. He used Viagra up to 200 mg doses, Trimix injections, vacuum pumps, but all useless. The condition kept worsening. Each try was a miserable failure. By 2001, he was completely impotent, no erection possible, no matter what method. For a man who was once the icon with Sex Machine, who drove the world crazy with his frenzy and strength on stage, now facing a cruel reality. No longer able to conquer like before, James Brown could only sit watching films and ask his wife to handle herself in front of him as a way to satisfy the heart's desires that his body couldn't perform. His wife, Tommy Ray Heine, recounted that from 2001, he never got hard again, never felt ecstasy in that anymore, no matter what he tried. His bedroom life had nothing left but hopeless efforts, attempts that fizzled out in failure. 3. Quincy Jones. The legendary producer turned into a ghost of desire. Quincy Jones, one of the biggest names in music, is the one who redefined many genres like jazz, R&B, and pop. From the 1950s to now, he's a legendary producer, composer, and the one who created memorable albums like Michael Jackson's Thriller. No one can deny Quincy Jones's talent and influence on world music. But his private life wasn't as brilliant as his career path, even hiding many pains he couldn't express. In 1974, Quincy Jones's life changed forever when he hit a serious setback. On August 9th, a brain aneurysm rupture led to emergency surgery and a 3-week coma. But that wasn't the worst. Just 3 months later, on November 12th, he had a second brain aneurysm rupture. This time, surgery had to go deeper. Doctors removed the necrotic brain part, and he had to use high doses of phenytoin and phenobarbital for life. These events didn't just affect his overall health, but destroyed Quincy's sexual ability. From a normal testosterone level of 720 NGDL in 1973, it dropped severely to just 80/110 NGDL. From 1975 to 1980, Quincy Jones started noticing clear changes in his married life. Erections became something distant, no longer natural like before. He could only get 5 to 10% hard and had to use methods like yohimbine and papaverine injections, but results still weren't what he hoped. Over the next 20 years, he tried daily androgel testosterone gel combined with 100 ml Viagra, but only got 20–30% hardness without any pleasure or climax. From 2001 to now, Quincy Jones's condition has gotten even worse. He switched to injecting 1,000 mg testosterone undecanoate every 10 weeks, combined with Trimix injected directly into his little guy. But even using all that, he could only maintain an erection for a mere 1 to 2 minutes. From 2010, he completely gave up all treatments because they stopped working. The efforts only deepened his heartache as hopes kept shattering. Quincy Jones's final years have become a chain of unsalvageable disappointments. His long-term girlfriend from 1990 to 2010, Rashida Jones, recounted that his bedroom was always full of testosterone and Trimix vials, but he pretty much stopped using them after 2015. The feeling of being abandoned, fruitless efforts, and the decline of a legend make people feel heartbroken. A man who was once an icon of power and talent, now facing weakness and impotence, he couldn't change. 2. Fats Domino. the rock legend who let weight and diabetes control the bedroom. Fats Domino, one of the biggest names in rock and roll history, left an indelible mark with legendary hits like Ain't That a Shame and Blueberry Hill. With his masterful piano skills and unmistakable music style, he was one of the pioneers who turned this genre into a global phenomenon. But even as a music legend, Fats Domino couldn't avoid life's tragedies, and one of the lesser-known stories about him is the severe decline in his sexual ability. Fats Domino, throughout his career, battled a series of serious health issues from unhealthy habits and uncontrolled diet. His weight always fluctuated between 150–180 kilograms from 1955 until he died in 2017. Severe metabolic syndrome, along with type 2 diabetes, discovered in 1978, forced him to face horrific consequences. Blood pressure always high, blood lipids 4 times normal, and atherosclerosis in the pelvic and little guy arteries made Fats Domino face unimaginable difficulties. In 1975–1980, Fats Domino could still maintain a sex life, but things weren't like before. He had to do it in side-lying positions, and before climaxing had to rest 3 to 4 times due to shortness of breath. But this only lasted a short time, because from 1981, blood vessel check results at Touro Hospital, New Orleans, showed his 2 little guy arteries blocked 95%, making natural erections impossible. In 1982, he tried 100 milligrams Viagra combined with a vacuum pump, but no reaction at all. Those methods only made him feel more disappointed and annoyed. Doctors recommended stenting to improve blood flow, but Fats Domino refused. Maybe he didn't want to face the fact that part of his body had completely lost normal function. From 1985 on, he stopped having sex with his wife. His life was just long, impotent nights, lying hugging his wife in the dark. From the 1990s, his bedroom always had an oxygen tank 24/7 to help him breathe easier. His final years had no hot encounters, no passion or pleasure. All that was left was fatigue and boredom. 1. Clarence Williams III, the Mod Squad star who let heroin steal every sensation below the belt. Clarence Williams III, widely known for his role in the Mod Squad series, is one of the standout actors of 70s–80s Hollywood. With his captivating presence and superior acting talent, he made an impression on audiences through many strong, character-filled roles. However, behind the small screen's glamour, Clarence Williams III wrestled with an incredibly harsh personal tragedy. With a stormy journey in bedroom life, he became a classic example of health destruction from stimulant habits. Right from 1972, Clarence started injecting heroin daily. This habit lasted 13 years until 1985, and it left devastating consequences on his health. Those years of addiction not only destroyed his physique, but seriously affected his sex life. From a healthy man, strong in body and mind, Clarence gradually became a shadow of himself. By 1977–1978, Clarence started feeling the horrific changes inside his body. His erection ability vanished completely. No sensation or pleasure below the belt anymore. Everything seemed like there was still hope when he could use support methods like papaverine injections, but gradually, the results of those efforts only made him see the bitter truth clearer. His blood vessels had hardened, making at-home self-treatment almost ineffective. He fell into confusion and often snapped for no reason, no one knowing what he was facing deep inside. Things kept getting worse. By 1979, Clarence had to make the decision to get a urology check at Cedars-Sinai Hospital, Los Angeles, with slim hopes, but the doctors were helpless too, concluding irreversible impotence completely from heroin. That was the last straw. Throughout the years after, from 1980 to 2021, Clarence no longer cared about using any support methods. He gave up everything related to that. Even as a famous actor, this time of his was sunk in loneliness and impotence. Clarence lived a life with almost no crossover in physical sensations. His ex-wife, Gloria Foster, and co-star Peggy Lipton, who was with him in Mod Squad, both recounted that he once bluntly said the truth no one dared face. From 1978, I've become truly asexual, no sensation at all below the belt. Though a talented, famous, and powerful man on screen, Clarence Williams III paid dearly for his past wrong choices. What happened to him isn't widely spread, but those who know shudder at the terrifying destructive power of stimulants. You see, there are stars who shine brilliantly and captivate on stage, but are weak in their private lives. They can enchant millions with their talent and perfect looks, but behind the stage lights, they're unstable people facing painful challenges not everyone understands. What do you think about their tragedies? Leave your thoughts in the comments below the video, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next videos, where we'll keep exploring other secrets in the world of celebrities.